I was sitting in my car at 4:30 p.m. on a Thursday, officially unemployed for the first time in 6 years, when my phone buzzed with a text that would change everything. The notification from Clara came through exactly 12 minutes after I walked out of that building. 12 minutes. Someone must have told her the second the layoffs were announced. I stared at my phone, still processing the severance envelope sitting on my passenger seat. $205,000, plus a quiet promise from my manager about another opportunity coming within 48 hours. The meeting had been surprisingly brief. HR, my direct manager, the usual corporate language about restructuring and budget realignment. But they'd been decent about it. 6 years of solid work, late nights mentoring junior developers, actually caring about code quality. It had earned me something. The severance was generous, more than generous. And then my manager had leaned in privately, lowered his voice, told me Davidson Tech Solutions was looking for someone with my exact skill set. Higher pay, better benefits. They'd reach out soon. I should have felt relief, maybe even excitement. Instead, I was staring at Clara's message. Did the layoffs hit you? No warmth, no concern. Just a question that felt more like confirmation of something she already knew. I typed back honestly, told her about the severance, mentioned the new opportunity already lined up. Watched those 3 dots appear and disappear, appear again. Then her reply came through like a punch I didn't see coming. I absolutely can't continue dating an unemployed loser. This isn't what I signed up for. I need someone with ambition and stability, not someone who can't even keep a job. I'm done. Don't contact me. I read it 3 times. Unemployed loser. Can't even keep a job. I'm done. 3 years together. 3 years of building something I thought mattered. Conversations about the future, the kind that suggest you're moving towards something permanent. And she'd ended it in the time it took me to drive from the office to the parking lot. The cold efficiency of it was almost impressive. She'd been waiting for confirmation before pulling the trigger. No questions about what happened. No offer to talk it through. No suggestion that we figure it out together. Just a clean exit based on incomplete information and a conclusion she'd apparently already reached. I sat there watching the parking lot empty out around me. The sky was turning that particular shade of orange that happens right before sunset. Part of me wanted to call her, explain the severance, the new job opportunity already in motion, the fact that I'd probably be making 40% more within a month. But another part of me, the part that was rapidly taking control, recognized something more important. She'd shown me exactly who she was in the moment I needed support the most. Some people reveal their character in a crisis. She just did. I typed 1 word back. Understood. Then I blocked her number, blocked her on every social media platform, and drove home to the apartment we shared. Her stuff was everywhere. Photos on the walls, skincare products cluttering the bathroom counter, her clothes taking up half the closet. But I knew she'd come for it soon enough. She was efficient like that. My phone rang before I even made it inside. Unknown number, I answered. Hello, this is Benjamin Sanders from Davidson Tech Solutions. Axel Lloyd gave me your information. Do you have a few minutes to talk about a senior engineering position? I smiled for the first time that day. Yeah, I've got time. The conversation lasted 30 minutes. The salary was $125,000, up from the $89,000 I'd been making. Better benefits, actual work-life balance, interesting projects without the corporate bureaucracy. They wanted me to start in 2 weeks. I accepted on the spot. That night, sleeping alone in the bed we used to share, I didn't feel sad. I felt felt something else entirely. Clarity, maybe. Or relief. Clara thought she was leaving a sinking ship. What she didn't know was that she'd just jumped off right before it transformed into something better. And I wasn't about to tell her. The next morning, I changed the locks. My lease, my apartment, my name on everything. She'd have to coordinate a time to pick up her belongings. I wasn't going to make it difficult, but I also wasn't going to make it comfortable. Her first text came through at 11. I'd unblocked her temporarily, knowing this conversation was inevitable. I need to get my things. When can I come by? Tomorrow. 2 p.m. You'll have 1 hour. That's not enough time. Then bring help. 1 hour. She showed up the next day with her sister and 2 large boxes. I stayed in my bedroom while they packed, heard them talking in low voices, occasional laughter like this was just another Saturday errand. At 58 minutes, my doorbell rang. "We're done," she said when I opened the door. She stood there looking at me like she was waiting for something. An argument, maybe. Begging. Some kind of emotional reaction that would tell her I still cared. I handed her a box she'd left by the door. "You forgot this one." That was it. Nothing else to say. "Drive safe." Her sister grabbed her arm and pulled her toward the stairs. I closed the door, locked it, and went back to organizing my life. Week 1 of unemployment, though I didn't really think of it that way, I focused on preparation. Studied for the new position, updated my professional profiles, organized my finances. The severance money sat in my account like a safety net I didn't need, but appreciated having. Week 2, I started at Davidson Tech. The office was modern, the team was competent, and the work was actually interesting. No corporate bureaucracy, no pointless meetings about meetings, just good engineering problems that needed solving. My co-workers were friendly. One of them mentioned a group that met up for basketball on weekends. I hadn't played in years, but I said yes anyway. Week 3, I bought new furniture. The apartment had felt empty after she took her stuff, so I filled it with things I actually liked. Minimalist, functional, mine. Week 4, I started noticing the difference in my bank account. That first paycheck from Davidson hit different. Combined with the severance money, I had more financial security than I'd had in years. And Clara had no idea about any of it. Through mutual friends, I heard she'd been telling people her version of events. How she had to leave because I'd become directionless after losing my job. How she needed someone more ambitious. How she deserved better. I didn't correct anyone, didn't defend myself, just kept moving forward. Because here's what I learned in those 4 weeks. Sometimes the trash takes itself out. And sometimes the best response to being called a loser is to just win quietly. By the time I reached week 5, things had settled into a comfortable rhythm. Work was going well. I'd already made noticeable progress on a project that had been stalling for months. The team started coming to me with questions, respecting my input. It felt good to be valued for what I could do, not just how long I'd been around. Evenings were quiet. I'd come home, cook something simple, work out, read. The apartment stayed clean because there was nobody else leaving dishes in the sink or throwing clothes on the chair. I avoided social media entirely. No posts, no stories, no checking what anyone else was doing. If people wanted to know how I was, they could text or call. Some did. Mostly guys from my old job who'd also been let go. We'd grab drinks, commiserate about corporate decisions, share job leads. None of them knew about my situation with Clara. I kept that separate. But information travels, especially in circles where everyone knows everyone. 3 weeks in, my buddy Noah called. We'd played on the same recreational soccer team for 2 years. Hey man, I need to tell you something, he started. Gabriella's been talking, like a lot. I should mention, I'd been calling her she and her in my head, but Noah used her name. Clara, the woman who'd sent that text. What's she saying? That you fell apart after losing your job. That she tried to be supportive, but you became too much to handle. That she had to protect her own mental health by leaving. I almost laughed. Supportive. Yeah, I figured it was garbage, Noah continued. You good though? Better than good. New job, better pay, apartments all mine. I'm doing fine. That's what I thought. Listen, people are starting to ask questions because you've been quiet. She's filling in the blanks with her own story. Letter. You sure? Because Sienna heard her at some gathering last weekend, and apparently it's getting pretty elaborate. Sienna was Noah's girlfriend. Good person, no drama. What do you mean, elaborate? Like she's telling people you begged her to stay, that you promised you'd find another job but kept making excuses, that she gave you multiple chances. Now that was interesting. Pure fiction, but interesting. None of that happened. We know, but you might want to say something. I'll think about it. I didn't think about it. I had better things to do. The basketball group turned out to be exactly what I needed. Physical activity, casual competition, guys who didn't know my history and didn't care. We played Saturday mornings, grabbed breakfast after, talked about normal things. One of them, a financial advisor named Axel Davidson, no relation to the company, gave me some solid investment advice. I took a portion of the severance and put it into index funds, kept the rest liquid for opportunities. Another guy, a mechanic, looked at my car one Saturday and told me straight up it wouldn't last another year. The transmission was going, the engine had issues, and fixing it would cost more than the car was worth. I'd been driving that Honda for 8 years. Bought it used, maintained it decently, but it was showing its age. I'd planned to keep it running until it died, but apparently that timeline had accelerated. How much would something reliable cost? I asked. Depends what you want. You looking for another economy car or something nicer? I thought about it. I had the money. The new salary covered my expenses easily. The severance was sitting there, already partially invested. Something nicer. Check out the luxury pre-owned market. You can get a 3-year-old vehicle that's basically new for half the price. Better features, better performance, and if you pick the right brand, they hold value. Made sense. That afternoon I went browsing, not buying, just looking. Test drove a few options, felt the difference between my dying Honda and something built with actual engineering. I didn't buy anything that day, but the seed was planted. Week 6 brought another call from Noah. Dude, Clara's asking mutual friends for your new number. I'd changed it after blocking her. Clean break. Don't give it to her. Wasn't planning on it, but she's persistent. Says she needs to talk to you about something important. If it was important, she would have brought it up before calling me an unemployed loser. Fair point. Hey, we're having people over Saturday night if you want to come. Just a casual thing. She going to be there? No. Sienna made it clear she's not welcome after what she did. I appreciated that. I'll be there. The gathering was low-key, about 15 people, good food, better conversations. Sienna pulled me aside at one point. I need to apologize, she said. For what? I introduced you two. I thought she was better than this. Not your fault. People show you who they are eventually. Still, you deserve better. I'm getting better. New job's going well. Life's good. That's what Noah said. I'm glad. Later that night, one of Sienna's friends struck up a conversation with me. Arya. She was a graphic designer, funny, easy to talk to. We exchanged numbers, agreed to grab coffee sometime. Nothing serious, just two people who enjoyed talking to each other. I drove home that night feeling something I hadn't felt in months. Not happiness exactly, but contentment. Like my life was finally mine again. The next morning, I went back to the dealership. Found a car I liked. A luxury sedan, 3 years old, low mileage, certified pre-owned. Dark blue, clean interior, drove like a dream. The price was steep, but manageable. I'd done the math. With my salary and the money I had saved, I could pay cash and still have plenty in reserve. I'll take it. The salesman seemed surprised. Don't you want to think about it? I thought about it. Paperwork took 2 hours. They detailed the car, transferred the plates, handed me the keys. My old Honda went to their trade-in lot. It had served me well, but its time was done. I drove off the lot in a car that cost more than most people make in a year. Not to show off, not to prove anything to anyone. Just because I wanted it, and I could afford it. That distinction mattered. 6 weeks since the text message. 6 weeks since Clara decided I wasn't worth her time. I was doing better than fine. I was winning. And she still had no idea. Saturday afternoon, I was driving to meet the basketball group at a sports bar. We'd played that morning and someone suggested we watch the game together instead of heading home. The new car still felt surreal every time I got in. The leather seats, the smooth acceleration, the way it handled turns. It wasn't about the brand or the status. It was about finally having something I wanted without compromise. I pulled into the parking lot and found a spot near the entrance. As I got out, I heard someone call my name. "No way, is that you?" I turned. Rachel Blanchard, a friend from my old company. She'd survived the layoffs, still worked there. "Hey, Rachel." She walked over, eyes moving from me to the car and back. "Okay, what happened? Last I heard, you got cut in the restructuring." I did. Landed somewhere better. "Better than this?" She gestured at the car. "What are you doing now? Running a startup?" "Just engineering work. Different company, better environment." "Clearly." She laughed. "You look good too, like actually happy." "I am." "That's awesome. Hey, a bunch of us are inside. You should come say hi." I followed her into the sports bar. The place was packed, multiple screens showing different games. Our basketball group had claimed a large table in the corner. As I walked through the crowd, I caught sight of other familiar faces. People I'd worked with, people I'd met through various social circles. A few waved, a few nodded. Most just registered my presence and went back to their conversations. But I felt eyes on me. That awareness when multiple people are clocking you at once. I reached our table and settled in. Ordered food, watched the game, participated in the usual trash talk. Normal Saturday afternoon. Then Penny leaned over during halftime. "Don't look now, but Hannah Lynn keeps staring at you." Hannah was friends with Clara. They'd worked together before, stayed close after. Let her stare. She's got her phone out, definitely texting someone. I didn't react, just took a drink and focused on the screen. 30 minutes later, my phone buzzed. Unknown number. I'd changed mine, but apparently someone had shared the new one. I glanced at the message preview. I really believe in second chances. I didn't open it, just set the phone face down and continued watching the game. Axel, the financial advisor from our group, noticed. "Everything good?" Yeah, just someone who doesn't matter anymore. Another buzz, then another. I picked up the phone, opened the messages without responding to any of them. I really believe in second chances. We should talk. I think we both said things we didn't mean. I saw your car. You're obviously doing well. I'm happy for you. That last one almost made me laugh. She was happy for me. How generous. I showed the phone to Noah, who'd joined us at the table. He read the messages and shook his head. 6 weeks of silence and this is her opening move? Pretty much. You going to respond? Eventually, but not here, not now. The game ended. Our group split up, making plans for next week. I headed to my car, aware that Hannah was probably still reporting my every move. Good, let her watch. I drove home, parked in my designated spot, went upstairs. The apartment felt different now, not empty, just mine. Clean lines, no clutter, everything where I wanted it. I sat down at my desk and pulled up the messages again, read through them carefully. The presumption was incredible. I really believe in second chances. Like she was doing me a favor. Like I should be grateful she was willing to reconsider her decision. The second message tried to rewrite history. We both said things we didn't mean. No, she'd said exactly what she meant. I just responded with, understood. The third message was pure calculation. She'd seen the car, done the math, realized she might have miscalculated. I could have ignored it, blocked the number, moved on, let her wonder forever. But something in me wanted to respond. Not out of anger or bitterness, out of clarity. She needed to understand what she'd done, and I needed to close this chapter definitively. I opened a blank message and started typing. Not a quick response. This needed to be surgical, precise, devastating, but not cruel. Honest, but not emotional. I wrote it out, deleted it, rewrote it, spent 20 minutes getting the tone exactly right. The goal wasn't to hurt her. The goal was to make her understand, completely and permanently, that the door she'd slammed shut was never opening again. When I finished, I read it through 3 times, made sure every word was intentional. Then I looked at the message thread one more time. Her 3 messages, each one more desperate than the last, disguised as casual and friendly. My finger hovered over the send button. 6 weeks ago, she'd decided I wasn't worth her time, based on a single bad day. She'd called me a loser, told me she was done, and walked away without a second thought. Now she wanted back in because the narrative had changed. I thought about what Rachel said earlier. You look happy. I was. Genuinely, actually happy. And sending this message wouldn't change that. It would just provide closure. I hit send. You believe in second chances. That's generous of you. Here's what I believe in. First impressions. 6 weeks ago, you showed me exactly who you are. I lost my job, and within minutes, you called me an unemployed loser and ended 3 years without a conversation. No questions asked, no support offered. Just a cold exit based on a situation you didn't bother to understand. What you didn't know? I received a $205,000 severance package that day. I also had a job offer lined up before I even got home. Better position, 40% salary increase, actual work-life balance. I've been employed and financially secure this entire time. But I didn't tell you any of that because your reaction told me everything I needed to know. You didn't leave because I lost my job. You left because you thought I lost my value. Those are very different things. Now you see the car, here I'm doing well, and suddenly you believe in second chances, convenient timing. But here's the thing about second chances. They're for people who deserved the first one. You revealed your character in a moment that actually mattered. I'm not angry about it. I'm grateful. You showed me the truth before I wasted more time. So no, we won't be talking. We won't be trying again. This isn't about holding grudges. It's about recognizing that some people only want you when they think you're winning. And I don't need anyone in my life who measures my worth by my current employment status. I hope you find what you're looking for. Just don't expect to find it here. Then I blocked the number, put my phone on silent, and went to make dinner. Whatever happened next, I'd already moved on. This was just tying up a loose end. I cooked pasta, watched a documentary, went to bed early, slept better than I had in months. Sunday morning, my phone had 17 missed calls from unknown numbers and 6 voicemails I didn't bother listening to. I deleted all of them. Noah texted around noon. Bro, what did you send her? The truth. Well, it's making waves. Hannah's been calling Sienna nonstop. Apparently Clara is losing it. Not my problem. Fair enough. You good though? Better than good. And I meant it. Later that afternoon, I met Arya for coffee like we'd planned. She knew nothing about my history with Clara, and I didn't bring it up. We talked about work, travel, books we'd read recently. She was easy to be around. No games, no drama, just conversation. When we parted ways, she said, "We should do this again." We should. I drove home in my car, went up to my apartment, sat on my couch, looked around at the space I'd built for myself over the past 6 weeks. New job that valued me. Financial security I'd never had before. Friends who actually showed up when it mattered. A life that was completely, entirely mine. And somewhere across town, my ex was probably rereading a message that made it clear just how badly she'd miscalculated. I didn't feel vindictive about it. Didn't feel triumphant. I just felt free. Monday morning at Davidson Tech, I was deep into debugging a complicated API integration when Penny stopped by my desk. So, are you going to tell us what happened this weekend, or do we have to guess? I looked up from my screen. What do you mean? Dude, half the basketball group is asking. You were on your phone during the game, left kind of abruptly, and now apparently there's drama. No drama on my end. She raised an eyebrow. Noah says otherwise. I sighed. An ex reached out. I responded. That's it. Must have been some response. The group chat's been active. I hadn't checked. Didn't really care to. Look, she made a choice 6 weeks ago. Stuck by it until she realized she might have been wrong. I just made it clear that ship has sailed. Penny nodded slowly. Good for you. Most guys would either ignore it or take her back. I'm not most guys. She laughed. Clearly. The morning passed quickly. Around lunch, Noah called. You need to see this. See what? Check the screenshot I just sent you. I opened my messages. He'd forwarded an image. A text conversation between Clara and Hannah. My message was there, the one I'd sent Saturday night. Below it was Hannah's response. Oh my God. Then Clara's reply. He can't be serious. Hannah. He sounds pretty serious. Clara. But I didn't mean it like that. I was scared. I panicked. Hannah. You called him a loser. Clara. People say things they don't mean when they're upset. Hannah. Were you upset or were you calculating? Be honest. The conversation ended there. How did you get this? I asked Noah. Hannah sent it to Sienna. Sienna sent it to me. It's making the rounds. Great. Actually, yeah, great. Because now everyone knows the truth. She's been running her mouth for weeks, and you just shut it down with facts. I didn't respond. You there? Yeah, I just didn't want this to become public drama. Too late for that. But if it helps, everyone's on your side. What you wrote was harsh, but fair. She needed to hear it. After we hung up, I tried to focus on work. But my phone kept buzzing. Messages from people I hadn't talked to in months. Some supporting me, some asking for details, some just wanting to be part of whatever was happening. I turned off notifications and got back to coding. By Tuesday, the screenshot had apparently spread beyond our immediate circle. Someone posted it on social media with the names blurred out, but enough context that people who knew us could figure it out. The comments were mixed. Some praised the directness. Some called it too harsh. Some debated whether I should have just ignored her. I didn't engage with any of it. Wednesday afternoon, Sienna called. Hey, I need to warn you about something. What now? Clara is planning to show up at the basketball game Saturday. She wants to talk to you in person. She's not part of that group. She's going to come anyway. Hannah told her not to, but she's not listening. I thought about it. If she shows up, I'll handle it. You sure? Because this is getting messy. It's only messy if I participate in the mess. I sent one message. I'm done. Okay, but call me if you need backup. Thursday, I got an email. Work address, which meant she'd looked it up on LinkedIn or asked someone. Subject line, please read this. I almost deleted it without opening, but curiosity won. The email was long. Paragraphs of explanation, justification, apology. She'd been stressed about her own job. She'd reacted badly. She'd said things she regretted. She understood why I was hurt, but hoped we could at least have a conversation. The tone was different from the texts. More measured, more mature, almost convincing, almost. But underneath all the careful wording was the same basic premise. She'd made a mistake in judgment, and now she wanted to correct it. Not because she'd grown, not because she'd learned something about herself, but because the facts had changed. I didn't reply. Friday evening, Noah texted. She's definitely coming tomorrow. Just giving you a heads up. Thanks. Want me to run interference? No. If she wants to talk, we'll talk. Won't change anything, but I'll hear her out. You're more patient than I'd be. Maybe. Or maybe I just wanted to close this chapter completely. Leave no room for what-ifs or unfinished business. Saturday morning, I drove to the courts. Parked in my usual spot. The car drew some looks like it had the previous week, but I was used to it now. The group was already warming up when I arrived. I joined them, focused on the game. Halfway through, I saw her standing on the sideline with Hannah, watching. She looked different. Thinner maybe, or just tired. Hannah looked uncomfortable, like she didn't want to be there but felt obligated. I played 3 more possessions, then called for a sub. Walked over to the bench, grabbed my water bottle. Clara approached. Can we talk? I looked at Hannah. Can you give us a minute? Hannah nodded gratefully and walked toward the parking lot. Clara stood there, arms crossed. You didn't respond to my email. There was nothing to respond to. I poured my heart out in that message. You explained your reasoning. That's not the same thing. So that's it? You just write me off? You wrote me off first. I'm just accepting your decision. That's not fair. I made a mistake. You made a choice. Mistakes are accidents. You chose to send that text. You chose those specific words. You chose not to ask questions or offer support. She looked away. I was scared. Of what? Of being with someone who couldn't provide stability. And now I can. So suddenly, I'm worth your time again. It's not like that. It's exactly like that. You saw the car. You heard about the job. You did the math and realized you miscalculated. Now you want to fix it. Why is that so wrong? People can change their minds. I took a breath. Because I need someone who stays when things get hard, not someone who checks the scoreboard before deciding if I'm worth the effort. That's not who I am. It's exactly who you showed me you are. She stared at me for a long moment. So there's nothing I can say? There's plenty you can say, but it won't change my decision. You're being stubborn. I'm being clear. There's a difference. I drove all the way here to talk to you. I didn't ask you to. Her eyes welled up. You're really going to throw away 3 years over one bad day? You threw away 3 years over one text message. I'm just not picking up the pieces. She turned and walked back toward Hannah. I watched them leave, then returned to the game. Penny caught my eye. You good? Yeah, I'm good. We played another hour, grabbed food after. Nobody asked about what happened. They didn't need to. When I got home that afternoon, I felt lighter, like I'd been carrying something heavy, and finally set it down. My phone buzzed. One last message from an unknown number. I'm sorry I hurt you. I hope you find happiness. I didn't block this one, just left it there, unread. She'd said her piece. I'd said mine. The conversation was over, and for the first time in 6 weeks, I felt completely, entirely finished with it. The following week passed without incident. No texts, no emails, no surprise visits. Just work, basketball, and life moving forward. I heard through Noah that Clara had stopped talking about me entirely. Hannah mentioned she'd been dealing with some consequences at work. Something about her performance slipping, not my problem. Thursday evening, Arya and I met for dinner. Not a date exactly, but not a date either. We talked about everything except my past relationship. She made me laugh, challenged my opinions, listened when I talked about work. Over dessert, she said, "You know what I like about you?" "What's that?" "You seem comfortable with yourself, like you're not trying to prove anything." I spent enough time proving things to someone who didn't care. Not interested in doing that again. She nodded. Sounds like there's a story there. There is, but it's finished. Good. I'm not interested in competing with ghosts. 2 weeks after the basketball court conversation, I got promoted at Davidson Tech. Lead engineer position. Another salary bump. More responsibility. My manager said I'd earned it through consistent performance and leadership. I celebrated by taking the basketball group out for drinks. We toasted to good work, good friends, and moving forward. Penny pulled me aside at one point. "You know, Clara tried to reach out to me last week." "What did she want?" "To know if you were seeing anyone." I told her it was none of her business. "Appreciate that." "She also asked if you ever talked about her." I said no. "Because I don't." Exactly. 3 months after that text message, I was exactly where I needed to be. The promotion at Davidson Tech came with new challenges I enjoyed solving. My team respected me, my work mattered, and I went home each day satisfied. Arya and I had been seeing each other regularly. Nothing rushed, nothing forced. just two people who enjoyed each other's company, building something authentic. Saturday morning, the basketball group met as usual. Afterward, we grabbed breakfast at our regular spot. Normal conversation, normal laughs, normal life. As I was leaving, I saw her, Clara, sitting alone at a corner table with her laptop. She looked up. Our eyes met briefly. I nodded once, politely, and kept walking. No anger, no satisfaction, just acknowledgement that we'd both moved on. Outside, Arya was waiting by my car. "Ready?" she asked. "Yeah." We drove to the farmer's market, spent the afternoon walking around, bought fresh vegetables and homemade bread. Simple things that felt right. That evening, my phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. "I saw you today. You look happy. I'm genuinely glad. I'm sorry for everything. I hope you can forgive me someday." I read it twice, then showed it to Arya. "You going to respond?" she asked. "No, that chapter's closed." I deleted the message and put my phone away. We cooked dinner together in my apartment. She told me about a new project at work. I shared a funny story from the office. We laughed, ate, cleaned up side by side. Later, sitting on the couch, she asked, "Are you over her completely?" "Yes." "How do you know?" "Because seeing her today didn't change anything. I felt nothing. Not anger, not sadness, not curiosity, just nothing." She smiled. "That's how you know." I thought about the past 3 months, the severance money, mostly invested, the new job exceeding expectations, the friendships that deepened, the relationship with Arya growing naturally. None of it happened because of revenge or spite. It happened because I focused on building something better instead of dwelling on what broke. Clara had done me a favor, really. She'd shown me her truth early enough that I could walk away clean. Some people need second chances. Others just need to be left behind. I knew which category she fell into, and I was perfectly fine with that. Our story has come to an end. If you've made it this far, how about subscribing to our channel? It helps us immensely. I've selected 2 other videos for you that I'm sure you'll enjoy. Feel free to click on them. I'll be waiting for you in the next story. See you soon.